Center for Innovative Leadership video podcast being brought to you by the National Association of Elementary School Principals. What's up, NAESP?
What's up? Welcome to the NAESP Center for Innovative Leadership video podcast. We're Andy Jacks and Hamish Brewer, two of the fellows with the Center for Innovative Leadership. Andy is an elementary principal at Ashland Elementary in Manassas, Virginia. And I am a middle school principal at Fredland Middle School in Woodbridge, Virginia. What's up? And the Center for Innovative Leadership video podcast is all about real school leaders, just like the one we're about to speak to today, doing real work across the country all the time, how they're overcoming obstacles in unique and innovative ways, and what we can all learn from them and each other to be better for our schools and take back to our schools each and every day. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share to keep up with the conversation around the Center for Innovative Leadership.
Welcome, Kim Taylor from Massachusetts.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, guys.
Welcome. So you can find Kim on Twitter at Principal Kim, and she is that. Are you on Instagram and all that stuff too, or
no Instagram? But we have also at Dedham ECEC for the school.
Awesome.
So both of those.
And she is a principal in Dedham, Massachusetts. So where is Dedham, Massachusetts? Where is that?
Dedham is about 30 minutes outside of Boston, more towards going towards the South Shore.
Okay. And what's your school name?
The Curran Early Childhood Education Center.
Awesome. And so what grade levels do you have? So it's just early childhood, right?
Yes, we have students ages 3 to 6, preschool through kindergarten.
Wow.
How many students do you have?
341 students.
Wow.
Yeah, we actually have of the 4 elementary schools and my school, we have the biggest population in the district.
And what's your district?
It's Dedham Public Schools.
Dedham Public Schools. Awesome. Big shout out to Dedham Public Schools.
Dedham Public Schools.
Yeah.
Now, did your school get established because of a initiative, or is it a new school that's been around a long time because this is very unique that many preschoolers in one place like that, you know?
Right.
Right. The school has been in existence for a very long time. However, the building that we are in currently, we have been here less than a year. We just moved in last February.
Wow.
The school that we were housed in before was one of the oldest schools in the district. And so the district went out to the Massachusetts School Building Authority for funding to build this new school, and this is actually the first school in the state early childhood center that's been funded by the Massachusetts School Building Authority, partially funded.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Dedham for getting that thing going, taking care of your kids, starting something new.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So big, I know we talked about this on the side, but a big connection we had automatically is that Hamish and I both went into education to be kindergarten teachers. I think, Hamish, you taught kindergarten for a year, you said?
Yeah, I was a kindergarten teacher by chance in my first year, not planned, and I realized that I had no idea what the hell I was doing when I was a kindergarten teacher. That being said, I learned to be a teacher because of my experience in kindergarten.
Oh, man, yeah, and I went in to be a kindergarten teacher. I remember that. I did the preschool. I don't know, some schools have the high school where they have preschool in the high school, you know?
Yep.
And so I did those classes, and I absolutely loved it. And I was, great with kids. So I wanted that early childhood. I still do. I absolutely love the early childhood ages. And I went in, and I did my student teaching in preschool and in kindergarten and then in 5th grade. And let's just say I became a 5th grade teacher, not a kid.
I don't know that I knew that about you, Andy. I don't know that I knew that kindergarten was something you wanted to do. After all these years of knowing each other, I don't know that I knew that. I tell you what, between the two of us, and I joke about this for me all the time, I was right out of a movie scene of Kindergarten Cop. So you take 6-foot Andy, and he really makes it true.
That's right. It's not a tumor.
Get out! Stop!
Yeah, there's some other lines in there too that are classic, but we won't repeat them on here.
Oh no! A big shout out just right now. I cannot go any farther without giving a huge shout out to all of our kindergarten, first, second grade, preschool teachers. Big shout out. It takes a special person with patience and love, your willingness to do anything, because literally in that job, they have the best stories. Our kindergarten teachers, first grade, they have
Yes.
the best stories. The stuff that they deal with on a regular basis is
Yes.
just other people won't believe it. Like, it's crazy.
Yes, and it changes on a dime.
Absolutely.
And
That's
like,
one thing about my job. Well, all of our jobs as principals. There's nothing happens the same way over and over again. It just is. But with little ones, you can't ever think you're going to know what they're going to say, because it's interesting.
Well, and I
going
know,
for like a read aloud, I
Right.
sit in front of kids, and like before I know it, it's like I'm getting hit with shotgun blasts of like questions about this, and like the random comments, and I just start laughing because it's like they're just random comment. I'm like, okay.
I always say to people who come to do presentations for the kids, and they say, can I make time for questions at the end? I'm like, no. You can't, because we'll be here until tomorrow or next week. They won't be questions.
Okay, so Kim, first takeaway from this session, because it's right here. I couldn't agree more. We've made that mistake as well. And so, Kim, just the way we roll here is it's sort of like we try to find insight for principals and school leaders and aspiring principals especially. And this is something that people overlook. If you're doing an assembly or a group conversation or something else, we do this thing all the time. We're like, we do this like sort of ask questions, and then we want them to respond, but all they do is respond in like yelling back, and like it all gets chaotic again. Even at the upper grade levels, I think you have to be really intentional about questions. Either don't ask a question or ask it in a way that you know you're going to elicit a certain kind of response, and then you can get back to work, right? Because otherwise, we just say like, how you doing? And then everyone starts, it's like, whoa, that backfired, right? You see it all the time in assemblies when people come in. So what advice do you have on that sense? So if you're trying to engage like little ones like that, but you don't necessarily want to ask a question?
I think, well, one of the most important things here, we have a monthly community meeting, so there's often opportunities for, kids to share their learning or share their knowledge, and we really try to be very intentional about the questions that we ask. For example, if we have 3 school rules here, and if I ask for kids to come up and share about one of the rules that something they've done to show one of the school rules in a positive way, I make sure that at this stage specifically, the teachers know in advance what's coming, so that we don't have that, my cat did this, or, my dog did this, that the teachers get a heads up in advance that here's the questions I might ask. Can you please have some kids ready with an answer or a response, so that we're prepared to support what the kids are going to say.
That's great advice.
So, not to sidetrack the conversation, because that's great advice, but what's this I hear about you were a aerobics instructor for like 20 years, and like you're some like baking champion or something like that?
Yeah, one of my, self-care over the years has been to work out and exercise, but it always has had to be in a group environment. So I had my aerobics certification for many, many years. In fact, in one of my schools that I was principal, I was teaching after school aerobics classes for the staff. I am not actually certified any longer. However, I still use group exercise as one of my reasons for self-care. And I just moved into this new position last year, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from my house.
Wow.
So yeah, my self-care kind of bit the bullet in regards to, commuting. And so this break, I have actually gotten back involved with some group exercise in the area.
So tell us about that. We have a lot of principals out there that commute a lot of miles, like you're spending a lot of time in your car at crazy hours of the evening or even in the morning.
Yeah.
What's your routine in the car? Are you a podcast listener to you? Do you break dance? Are you listening to music? Like, are you singing at the top of your lungs? Like, what is it that your commute looks like?
All of the above. I most often use that time in the morning to catch up on Voxer in the different groups that I'm part of, Principals in Action, and a book group that I'm doing right now, and Moms as Principals. Those are the times when I can actually listen to those things and contribute to those things when nobody is around.
Mhm.
Music is huge for me. I couldn't do my commute without music.
Mhm.
And it varies from what I listen to. Sometimes I'm listening to, just a country station or just a top 40 station. Sometimes I'm listening to worship music. Sometimes I'm actually listening to kids music that, like, in preparation for our holiday sing-along that we had, I was listening to some songs to try to pick some good songs for the kids to be involved with, which you probably saw in the video, some of the examples of that. But, I'll tell you something. I left the district after 21 years to come here a
Wow.
year and a half ago. And my commute was much shorter, but I will tell you that my commute seems shorter now because I love my job so much.
Wow. That's something to be said. And yeah, sometimes and teachers make this mistake sometimes too, where they just want a school that's close to their house, and they don't realize that you want a school that's good for you.
Right.
You need and deserve that just as much as the kids need you to be good for them. You need to be in place that you're happy, that you're motivated, that you're excited. That's absolutely key, right? And so
Yeah,
I see a lot of
absolutely.
teachers that do the same thing. I have teachers, and I'm so proud of them for doing the same thing. They're like, yeah, I kind of moved farther away, but I can't leave my team. I can't leave, my colleagues, my school, the whole thing. I'm so invested, right? And I love it so much. So that's a great point. Your commute is all relative depending on how you feel about your job, right?
Right, exactly. And also how you feel professionally. Like, I was in the district, for, like I said, 21 years, and that was the district that I actually went to school in.
Oh wow.
So to leave was leaving a lot behind, not just my job and my school, but, my town that I grew up in. And
Yeah.
it was the best decision I ever made. It has grown me tremendously as a professional.
Yeah, sometimes you got to step outside your comfort zone, right? And take
Yeah.
a risk and try
Yeah.
something different. And that's very scary, but rewarding. Right? It's the whole risk reward, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great share. All right, so let's get into your video and let's check this out. Let me pull this up. I can share it up here and we can talk through it. All right, share. And all right. How's that? Can you see that?
Yep.
All right, so I don't have music, so we can talk right through it. So the current early childhood education system. Wow, look at that. And tell me to pause if you want me to pause.
Wow.
Go
Beautiful.
ahead and pause there. That's the new building. That is the building we moved into last February. And I was not here through the whole development and process of this building being designed and built. This is only my second year in the district.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing, amazing building to be in every single day. And it's not about the building per se. It's obviously what goes on in the building that makes the school, but this certainly helps
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the conversation around the country about buildings and about facilities, and sometimes we downplay that, but it's very important, right? Schools need to be a very attractive, clean, organized, safe place for our kids every day. And it's our job as leaders to do the best we can with what we have. But as a whole society and communities and school districts, we need to make sure that we're putting these things in place for our kids. And I know it costs money and there's sacrifices communities have to make for that, but it is absolutely imperative that we have the best that we can have for our kids. So that looks outstanding.
Yep, it's a great place.
There she is.
Yep.
Yep, that was
Where is that? Hold on. Where is that? Like, is that I love that you have a couch. It looks like your living room.
It's actually in our playroom, which is considered to be our gym space in our building. We had a parent who built those panels as background and then set the stage right in the middle of the gym.
All right, hold on. Talk to me about this. Okay, I absolutely love this. I love this. Talk to me. So this is in a bigger room.
It's in a huge room, yeah, which later in the video, there's a picture of kids sitting in a big circle, which when you go through the video, you'll see it. But this was an effort of our PTO, our parent organization, to put together this Family Fireside Stories event just before Christmas.
Oh, I love it. So I do read alouds. A lot of principals do read alouds.
Yep.
But I love this idea of the chair and the backdrop, just setting the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's great, Kim. That's awesome.
And what you can't see in that picture is over on the side, one of the panels was blank, and that we projected the story that I was reading so the kids could see it.
Oh, I can see that's what they're looking at right there.
Right.
That's it. Interview over.
Principal takeaway right there.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. The fact that you went to that length projected the story up. So not only are they listening to you, watching you, they can see the pictures, they can interact. You can actually teach to it. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah. All right, what's all this?
Right there, if you pause there, that's birthday books. Thanks to Jessica Gomez out in California that I took away, from NAESP last summer. And this has been a huge hit. Easy takeaway, and the kids and the families just, obviously, they love it, especially at this age. They get to come to my office and sit and get a book, and it's just great.
Well, and it's one thing to listen to a good idea. And you know, again, we love NAESP and the collaboration between principals. Principals are sometimes in their own little island, their own little silos. And we hear about these different ideas, but you're actually taking it and using it and making it part of your own routine, which makes our collaboration so much more meaningful and powerful.
Right, exactly.
All right, what's this?
That was our holiday sing-along. We like I said, every month have a community meeting that's based on whatever may be going on in the building. Typically, it's just a share of learning and kids singing a song, or we have to obviously keep it short because our kids are little, but this highlights for me how important the visual support is for our kids because they are so little, and there they all are. And this just shows, I mean, I looked through this video after I put it together, and I was thinking, gosh, the kids just look so happy and engaged, and you don't know that necessarily until you step back and get a chance to watch. So,
right. I think that's a good takeaway too, is just sometimes we need to sit back and realize that we have some good stuff happening out there. You know, be proud of your school and what's happening and your teachers. And sometimes we're in the grind so much, we forget to appreciate that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you can stop right there too. This is another takeaway from NAESP, is the principal read aloud, which I do once a month in a classroom. And a lot of people are doing this, and this is our main lobby. So I do the read aloud, and then we do a short activity in the classroom, and basically the activity is led by me and written, you know, the things are done by me because the kids, developmentally, it's easier for me to write for them. And we display every class's responses to the activity that we did for the month. So there were 18 of those drops of kindness hanging in our main lobby from November.
You know, something that a takeaway already, and we've had multiple takeaways in this one already, is that if you attend a NASP conference, you're going to learn and you're going to come away with something. Like already you've taken 2 or 3 learning opportunities from the NASP conference and taken them and applied them to your school, and it's impacted and made your school better. It's made your work better. It's made you a stronger leader. Like, kudos to you that you went there, actively learned, actively took away, actively applied, and you became better for your kids. I mean, we couldn't ask for anything more at the NASP.
And I think one of the most important things about that is I took away the things that would not change me as a leader. These things are things that I could still do and still be the authentic, here I am, this is Kim as a principal. There were things that other people took away that I would never do. But I think that it's important that you find things that are me.
and what you just said, right, Andy? That little nugget right there. You don't have to take everything. You can't be me, the relentless principal. You have to be the best version of you, and you found the things that help you continue to be the best version of you. That's what it's about. Right. Outstanding.
Right. I see Jeff Kubiak's book, One Drop of Kindness. You did a whole theme on that, right, school-wide? So that's something that I noticed that Jessica does. And so when I do my read-alouds, I just typically do the book, and sometimes I do an activity. I really struggle with that second part of it, but you looks like you crushed it. So you're doing the activity with the book as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I tell the teachers they can go do what, they want to do during that time.
Yeah.
I think they're still leery to do that, but I'm like, go to the bathroom, go get a cup of coffee.
Yeah. When I started doing that, when I started doing my teachers, they were like, you sure you got them? I'm like, yeah, I can handle it. It's good.
There's another takeaway from the conference, the good news call of the day.
Yep. This is great.
Some great visuals.
Yeah.
And I like how authentic, relevant it is. It's flexible. There's opportunities. There's so much going on.
Yeah. And with little guys and girls, you got to keep them busy, right? Like you can't have any downtime.
Absolutely.
And it's moving quick. Like, oh, look at that. Look at the peas in a pod. Look at that.
Nice.
Let me tell you the story about the peas in the pod. That's a really kind of cute story. The way that this building was built is that the kindergarten wing is in pods. So the first pod in the wing is green, the second pod is orange, and the last pod is purple. And leading up to Halloween, the green pod staff members were all over the place. Like, we have the best costume, we're gonna like rock this, and there they came with their pea pods from the green pod on Halloween. I mean, the staff, that's another thing about this building, like the staff, and you see in the pictures, they're a collaborative, creative thinking group of people to work with. So
that's really coming across. And I think what I love so much is you see the PLCing, you see the collaborative approach, but I love this authentic hands-on approach. Now, little guys, they need that. It needs to be hands-on. It needs to be authentic and relevant, tactile, and all those things you're seeing here. I think it's a great example for us.
So, and I know a struggle sometimes with all the little ones is they come
That's
to you.
the room. Oh, Andy, back up for a minute if you could.
Yep.
We were talking about that room where the fireside stories took place. We can just find that circle. There it is. That's the room that fireside stories took place in.
Oh, I got it.
The one with that one. Yep.
So again, I want to really emphasize how you can create something out of nothing, right? Everyone sort of has a gym or everyone has a space, but then creating something special out about it is that second level. I'm going to take away this. I love this idea, Cam. I love the idea of doing a backdrop with the chair, making a whole scene out of it. I think that's fantastic. So I love the fact you just sort of made something out of nothing. That's great.
I think Andy will have that in place this week.
You probably will. I love it. And I will give you all the credit. I love it. Oh, all right. So yeah, I was talking about how so many kids are coming to you with such different experiences, right?
Yeah.
And so the range at that kindergarten level, that early childhood level of ability is, people think, oh, they're all sort of lower. Like, no, some come in with so much and some come in with nothing. How do you deal with that with your teams and PLCs, and how does that work?
I think that it's very interesting because here I have 12 kindergarten teachers because I have all the kindergarten teachers for the district.
Right.
So, when you're dealing with 12 people, there's some of them right there. Yep. It can be, one thought can be magnified 1,200 times when you have that many people. Can you just stop on that one too? I want to talk about the technology in a minute.
Right there.
So it can be challenging for sure when you have 12 people trying to come to a consensus about, how we're going to do things. And so I think this is a kindergarten team that has been together for a really long time, very long time. And they are in it for the best interest of the kids, and whatever works for kids is what they want to do. So if we have students who come in who have never been to preschool before, never mind our preschool, they've never been to any preschool, and we have kids who are coming in who are reading at a second and third grade level. So, so we're using the workshop model here, which helps to meet the different needs of the kids, but the teachers also are very passionate about integrating hands-on interactive experiences for the kids that are connected to the curriculum. That's actually something that we're going to continue to be working on, and probably will be in our next school improvement plan, is how do we continue to take a, for lack of a better word, canned curriculum, which is, Lucy Calkins' Readers and Writers Workshop and Foundations for Phonics, and make it a hands-on opportunity for all kids, as opposed to just teaching Readers Workshop to the 24 kids that they have in their class. So they're creative and they have a lot of ideas, which is great because we can, tap all their ideas.
Yeah, and something I want to really throw out there is that you have a unique opportunity having so many teachers at that same grade level with collaboration and coming up with special and unique ways to do something. I think schools struggle a lot of times with the opposite problem. They may only have 2 kindergarten teachers, or 1 kindergarten teacher, or 3. And so it's really hard for them to have like a really fascinating PLC model, to learn from each other, because it's just a couple of them to do that. When you have 12, I mean, I know 12 is a massive challenge too, right? Like trying to get everyone on the same page is probably so tough. But what's crazy is you can have so many things just pop out of that, right? And then you can run with it. Yeah.
Right. And this picture that I asked you to stop on is an example of some of the actual collaboration that goes on in regards to the new technology that we have in our building, and how technology has really taken another level here, because in a brand new building, of course, we have, all of the bells and whistles. And this is an actual opportunity of teachers saying, like, we need to learn together, and how can we do that with students in front of us? So it's not a, I'm going to learn it and then I'm not going to be able to try it with kids. But you can see in that picture that those are preschool teachers actually, and preschool kids who are working together with the help of our technology integration specialist with kids, which I think is really a key piece of PD in a building, is working directly with the kids and not just pulling teachers out and giving them PD.
I could agree more. Real quick on this picture.
Yep.
So you have, it looks like a wall that's a whiteboard / projector board. And then you have the projector you don't actually have like a what do you call, like a Promethean board or whatever. Like it just goes right on the wall.
That goes around the corner, like over to behind the teacher who has the blonde hair, who when I'm looking at the video is on the right. All the classrooms have that wipe off interactive wall.
That's cool.
So and those projectors are interactive, so the teachers and the kids can either use the wall for writing or projecting or whatever they want to use it for.
That's crazy. I remember when I remember how innovative it was just to use a projector, period.
Yeah.
Like, not interactive. I remember I had visits to my classroom by like the bigwigs, because they just wanted to see how I use Excel as a projector onto a wall. Like, it was like so low tech, but now at the time it was high tech. But now it's like how things have come is just incredible. That looks amazing.
Yeah, and the kids love it. The kids know more about it than we do, actually.
Oh yeah. Well, then you could use it for a whiteboard and a regular board as well, not just for the projector. So the projector doesn't because now like our projectors like take over the room, like with the board and the projector. It's just like they own that room. It's like too much.
Yeah.
So it looks like you guys do a lot of dress up stuff for your staff, right?
We do. Yeah, we do. These pictures are from when we moved in to the new building. Mid-year, we moved all these kids over last year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love, like, my heart, like, I have so much patience. Especially now, and Hamish has little ones too, but when my little ones, I have 3 kids, when they came through, like, that was something I learned a new patience for these little ones. They're just, in my eyes, they can like do no wrong. I know that's not the way to look at it maybe as a principal, but I just love it. They're so cute.
Oh, stop here. I want to talk about this because this is just incredible. This is another example of my kindergarten team working to bring the curriculum to life. So one of the units in the kindergarten readers workshop unit is on superpowers. And so because it's, a curriculum that comes, pretty well written and scripted for teachers, we do our best to try to bring it to life for the kids. So this was the end of the unit where the kids learned all their different reading powers. And so the team and myself and some of the support staff in the building did a big assembly for the kids, and each of the teachers and their assistants dressed up as one of the superpowers, and we did this whole assembly on, you know, kids can be, you're powerful, and how you can be like superheroes, and the kids had no idea that this was coming. So it's really one of the things that I feel really blessed to be able to do here is to work with a group of people who are so passionate about early childhood and can be creative and bring the curriculum to life. And this was just an amazing example of this. We actually will be doing it again in about a month when we get back. We'll be planning for it. So it was a hit. The kids loved it. You know, we had district people here. It was really a fun, engaging way to, you know, bring the kids and the curriculum to life.
It looks like your teachers are all in, that's something I always look for. You know, when Hamish and I look at different schools and different principals, it's your staff. How all in is your staff? Because if your staff is all in, you're doing something right? You're facilitating that, you're making that happen.
Right.
They look like amazing teachers.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that actually, how obvious it is that you're all in with your staff. You love your staff. You're a servant leader. You're an example to us about celebrating and uplifting your staff. I mean, it's very evident, and so congrats.
Thank you. There's one last thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm just looking for a video. There was some pieces of it in the video, but maybe we can go back and find the picture that had the kids. Oh, well, this we could talk about too. This was our ribbon cutting ceremony for our new building.
Yeah.
And, oh, there. Let's go ahead a little bit.
That one?
Nope.
That one.
Keep going.
Backwards or forwards?
Forwards.
That one?
We can talk about the ribbon cutting after. It's more important that we talk about this other initiative that's happening. That's our outdoor learning space right there. That little boy with the tape.
Okay.
So one initiative that started last year here, which we are so very proud of, is my specialist team. So my art teacher, music teachers.
I'm gonna stop sharing because I just want to hear you talk. All right, let's hear it.
Okay. PE teacher and library media specialist all began this initiative called Streaming, and we all know about STEM, STEAM, Stream, and this was an initiative that was brought forth by the way the new building is set up. So between the library, which is not called the library here, it's called the Discovery Center, in the art room, there's a collapsible wall, which is typically up most of the month, but 1 week during the month, they literally break the wall down between the art room and the Discovery Center and have all different streaming activities: science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, math, music, movement, and the kids that are in the specialist at that time cross-pollinate, for lack of a better word, and go between all these activities that are planned. And coincidentally, the music room and the playroom are also on either side of a collapsible wall. So we literally break the walls down between the specialist teachers once a month around a typical theme that the kids are interested in, and very often it's related to what's going on in either their preschool or their kindergarten curriculum in the classroom. So there was examples that you saw in there of the streaming week for Dr. Seuss, and all the activities had to do with the different subject areas but related to Dr. Seuss. So this happens once a month, and the team actually won an award in the district this year, even though it was only the first year that they had tried it. And as a leader, like, I stood back and just watched it happen, which was awesome. Like, one huge takeaway with that for me is it can happen without you.
Whoa!
Tell us more. Tell us more. Tell us more.
You know, they knew they had an initiative to break the wall down sometime during the school year, and it went to a level that I never expected it would go to. And you know what? I didn't do much of that except support them and ask them what they needed. And the stuff that came out of what they were doing, I was like, you know what? Get out of the way, Taylor. Like, they're fine. You know, they're awesome, and the kids now walk through the halls saying, "Oh, it's not a streaming week. When is our next streaming week going to be?"
Right.
And so it's taken a hold beyond what I ever would have expected. And I think as leaders, sometimes we have to just like step back and say, like, let them do it. Like, they'll ask you if they need help. As long as you're in the background encouraging them to do it, they can do it.
Andy, you can't end the show a better way than that. I mean, that's a complete mic drop. I mean, I don't even want to mess up what you just said. It was that good. But Andy and I talk about our job's often just to remove barriers and get out of the way. And what's one of our favorite color lights, Andy, that we like to talk about, you and me?
The green light.
Green light. Yep. Green light leading. Like, just if all of us as administrators could figure that one little piece out, we'd just be so much better for kids every day.
It reminds me of, like, you know, we always talk about momentum and trying to get the boulder to start rolling, and it takes us to just push so hard to get this boulder to start rolling and rolling. But once it's rolling, you got to let it go, right? And you can't hold on to it because you actually slow it down in a lot of ways, that ball from rolling. And if you really build a capacity and you empower your staff, then you should want them to be able to roll on these things on their own, right? And and if they can't, then you just keep growing that to the point where they can. That's sort of the goal. And a lot of times, like, principals feel like, unless I'm so, and I feel this way all the time too, I really struggle with this, where it's like, unless I have my hands all over it, then it's like, you know, but that's what we have to do. We got, you know, let it go.
So that's really important, right? It's a double-edged sword, because sometimes if you're not all over it, the momentum's not there.
Right.
But when you see that the momentum is there, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Get out of the way. Let them run. And, you know, as administrators, I became a better administrator when I realized it didn't have to always be about me. And when I was able to check my ego at the door and leave me at the door, great things happened in my building. And what you learn is you still become a part of it and look fantastic and do great with it anyway, as a product of their amazing work. Right. So remove those barriers. Complete mic drop at the end, Andy.
Yeah. Great work, Kim. Kim, I really appreciate you coming on, and I really appreciate your school. Shout out to all your teachers at Kern.
Yeah.
And just the insights you gave us were really, really incredible. Some of the big ones, you know, like that last one we talked about. I'm stealing the backdrop idea totally. But even the little stuff like not to ask questions, or be careful about questions for groups. I'm telling you, like, new principals struggle, because I know I did too, on the little things sometimes like that. And so that's not actually little, it's a very big thing. So you gave us so much advice. Thank you so much.
And
you're welcome.
Kim, you reminded me of my love of kindergarten today. I absolutely, you reconnected me with kindergarten, and there's something so special about it. So thank you for helping me reconnect. So just to remind the audience where they can find you and what's coming up next for Kim.
Yep.
Sure. So as we said at the beginning, I'm on Twitter at Principal Kim and at Dedham ECEC. Those are our Twitter handles for here. And we are also, you know, on obviously the Dedham Public Schools website here in Massachusetts. And what's next for me? Well, you know, like I said, I just got here. I feel like I'm still kind of new here, even though it's 27 years into the profession. Mm-hmm. But I think that the expansion of that streaming initiative that's been going on is something we're really going to be looking forward to pushing through the classroom level as well. I mean, that happens in the specialist classrooms when the kids go, and the teachers have started to dabble in it as well. So I'm really looking forward to, once the teachers have a handle on all the new curriculum initiatives that we have here, expanding that into the classroom as well, because the kids are clearly benefiting from it because they're talking about it, you know, unsolicited. And the teachers it was an effort of collaboration that was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really looking forward to bringing that more forward in the building.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. So thank you so much, Kim. Thank you all for watching and listening. Make sure to check us out on the NAESP website with www.nesp/CIL for Center for Innovative Leadership. And keep this discussion going with us on Twitter at _Andy Jacks for me and Brewer HM for the Relentless Principal over here. See past videos and blog posts on the NAESP website and the NAESP YouTube channel. So thank you, Kim, so much. This was a great session. Really good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kim. And remember, don't stagnate.
Innovate.
Innovate.